All right, today we're going to learn a rule that's called the chain rule. And what the chain rule does is it actually goes back to all the rules we worked on, and it allows us to expand how we apply those rules to various functions. And we're going to be looking at the notation that's showing up on your formula sheets and the front cover reference sheet to let you more closely understand what you're seeing. And one of the reasons that we have this chain rule is if you have a function like f of x is equal to 3x plus 8, and maybe we arrive at the 10th power on that. Until we have the chain rule, about our only option on this is either to multiply this out or to write this as a series of products 10 times and apply the product rule multiple times. And mathematicians kind of looked at both of those and said, there's got to be a better way. And so we developed and proved this concept called the chain rule, which hopefully will give us a better way. We need to be thinking about this operation as composition of functions. Putting one function into another one. And so in some ways you almost have to tear this thing apart. And I would submit to you that if we look at the 3x plus 8, that looks like something put into an x to the 10th function. Would you agree with that? So I'm just going to come over here and say let u equal 3x plus 8. So I can rewrite this function f of x, and I can say that is u to the 10th. Is that correct? Okay. If you see it in this version right here, the power rule applies, doesn't it? Based on the power rule, the derivative of something to the 10th is what? But guess what? I have actually not taken this as a derivative of x, because that's not x, that's u. And what the chain rule says is, yes, that power rule applies, but then there's going to be this one other piece, this one other link, what's called chain rule, linking in there then the derivative of this piece of the function, which, by the way, what is the derivative of 3x plus 8? 3. And so it links on then the derivative of that substituted part of the function. So now if we go back and we replace u values with their statements over there, we say that the derivative of our function in respect to x is that 10, and then it says that u value is now to the 9th power, and then there's the u prime value, which we have over there. And the u value is still 3x plus 8, and the u prime is 3. And so the only value I get to multiply together on the outside of the problem is 3 times 10. And we're going to simplify this and say this is 30 times 3x plus 8 to the 9th power. The chain rule lets me make those substitutions and view it as a more simplified version to then let us go ahead and take the derivatives. And I'm done. We want to leave it in this factored form because maybe we're going to set this equal to 0 and find where is this derivative equal to 0 and what x values could that happen. So I want to leave it in factored form to do that. So typically we are not multiplying out after we get this chain rule applied. Now, just by the way, number 5 from our bell work. If you look at this for a second, what was the derivative of 6x plus 4? What's the power? What's 6 times 3? And then it's 6x plus 4 to the 1 less power. Was that a description right there of the chain rule? Uh-huh. Okay. Let's try another one. See what you guys can do with this. to take the derivative. 5x squared minus 3 to the fourth power. Try to take the derivative. Now, some of you I know are doing this without thinking about what the u is. Some of you will need to write out what is the u value and what is the u prime value. So make sure we pick out the pieces that we need. Take that power rule derivative, and then we go back and substitute. So we have 4 times 5x squared minus 3 to the third, and u prime is 10x. So we just bring the 4 and the 10x and multiply it. So g prime of x is equal to 40x times 5x squared minus 3. Questions about that? Is that pretty straightforward? Okay, now what I want you to do is either go to the front cover of your textbook or that laminated reference sheet I gave you, pull that out, look at the power rule on that.
Oh, yeah.
Does your power rule look something like that?
Oh, glare.
So you'll see on that sheet that the u prime is included.